The talk of your timeline for the last 2 weeks has either been Donda or Certified Lover Boy.
CLB.
This week on Textually Active, we compared the two. Maybe pick a side.
Are they even comparable?
Maybe debate them. But to find out which side we on, you got to watch right here, right now on Textually Active.
Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of Textually Active.
Textually Active.
This is your weekly dose of conversations about navigating the digital age while dealing with friendships, relationships, and all the ships in between. I'm Rez, and I got Meezy with me.
Gang shit.
And EA is on the boards.
You know what it is. I'm here, dog. What's up? What's good?
I wasn't expecting that.
Me either. He kind of hyped up. Yeah. Gang shit. Who?
Gang.
You've been only saying it.
Knife talk.
Oh, knife talk? Yeah.
What's up,
gang shit. That's the shit I'm on.
We're going to get into that.
How y'all feeling?
I absolutely believe every single word that has ever came out of 21 Savage.
21 Savage never told a lie.
Every word that's ever came out of his mouth, I believe it.
So it's the way his tone is so like
it's never
even.
Like, it's never like I'm
he
trying
never
to
raises his voice. He never takes it too low. It never gets too high pitched.
He's never afraid to say it, and he's never not trying to prove to you that he mean what he about to say.
See,
he just say it.
The thing is, I don't think he ever tries to prove it. You know what I'm saying? I just think he just says it, and it's like, if you want to test him, you're gonna do it. Like you're gonna test him, you're gonna find out.
It's like a scratch off.
My thing is like I was pleasantly surprised when Clubhouse was hot, right? And he was talking, and I was like, this is not the 21 Savage that I thought I knew.
You wouldn't
know.
You would know.
And I'm like, I actually want to get to know this guy.
You want to get to know him while also being slightly afraid of him.
Very scared. Highly scared. Gotta make sure you walk carefully around 21
Like
Savage.
even him being with like Amber for the time that they was together, and we all was like, oh, maybe Amber, this nice free bird, would soften him up. No, I
listened to an interview that he did recently.
Still afraid.
And he was talking about how he was at the slut walk, and he was like, yeah, I was at the slut walk. What? Like, if she a slut and I'm fucking her, what that make me? A slut too, huh? I was like, he's right. He's right. It's not just one slut, it's two.
And I know what interview is talking about. And he was pressing him. Like, I heard what you said.
Did not play any games. It was almost like he was waiting for this moment.
And he cool with him, but he was still
But he was like, I saw what you said. And you was real loud about it. So it's funny that you bring me here today because we're going to talk about it. And you're in Atlanta too? Okay.
I'm telling you, I believe him. Shout out to 21 Savage. You
going
to hear this.
Who else do you believe?
When I hear them rap,
it can be anyone, not rappers.
When I hear people talking, I believe them. I believe the things Jay-Z says because eventually it either comes out or it comes into fruition.
Yeah,
like he says shit. Like he said shit on fucking the Life and Times Volume 3 that was 98, but somehow in fucking 2009 we watched it happen. Like he says shit. He's very good at manifesting and like doing it. He's also contradictory, but hey, he's human.
I believe what Rihanna says.
Yeah.
Sex with me is so amazing. I believed her when she said that.
Yeah, and then like they found that video of when niggas was like, she smelled good.
Yeah.
That lyric has had a hold on you for way too long.
I believed her in Cake.
She ain't came back yet.
She's not coming back. But anyway, we're here. We're here to talk about the artists who,
have a hold on
us,
even if you haven't been paying attention for the last 2 weeks.
Decades, I would even beg to say, like decades. Yeah. We could say decades in the right context because it has been decades that context.
I thought you were making fun of Jocelyn.
I was, because she was like, I've had a hold on this industry
for 10 decades.
For 10 decades, ma'am. Do you know how many that is?
That is 100 years, fine. And you're not that old.
I'm like, and if you still look that good, yo, who's the doctor? Yo?
100 years. If you want to say you a vampire, just say that, sis.
I mean, it's given.
But these are two artists who've definitely had a hold on us for a while.
Yeah.
And as two people who were, I would say, entering adulthood when these two artists came out, and now are adults, full-blown adults, and still seeing their career go, it's only right that we talk about the year that we've had with these artists, because it's been a lot.
Yeah. We've with the release of Certified Lover Boy last Friday, we've and the week before that being the release of Donda. It's been a war of words on the timeline. It's, you gotta pick a side, and if you pick the wrong side, they gonna come at your net for it. If you don't pick a side, it's why you ain't picked a side, and then you make other people who appear on both albums question why they ain't picked a side. It's just weird.
If Jay-Z's not picking a side, why do I have to pick a side?
Why?
If Lil Baby ain't pick a side, why I gotta pick a side?
Lil Baby is here for the bread, and that's it. Lil Baby is here to get the bread, to pay for surgeries, and encourage you to be your own woman.
That's right.
I like it.
That's right.
There's a lot to unpack there that I clearly have not been paying attention to. But
Lil Baby don't say much.
we'll talk about it.
Lil Baby does not say much, but he is an advocate for paying for plastic surgery.
And in some instances, he says that plastic surgery isn't fake. It's just altering your body.
If she get it from her gut and put it in her butt, it's natural.
It's natural. It was there. That's right. So these two artists have been going at it for a bit. I don't even know where the beef started. Do you know the beginning of the beef?
This is a beef that started in like 2009.
Really?
Yes.
Our resident
They've been beefing
Hip hop
since
historian.
2009?
Yeah, man, it's been a beef that's been started from a long time
Let me
ago,
think
bro.
about this, because Drake, I feel like Drake started coming into the industry around that time,
Yeah.
like getting noticed and getting the popularity that he was seeking for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like Drake was working on his career, since Degrassi, we knew him from that, but he had to do a lot of work to break free of that vision that people had of him from Degrassi. And at that time, if we think back, Kanye was at his peak because he already was in the game.
Hottest nigga in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can deny. Like there's only a few niggas that get that hot. Who's like, they take turns getting that hot. And some of them get that hot and they only get that hot for a little bit. Some of them niggas get that hot and last for a while. He is one of them niggas who got that hot and never looked back.
Yeah.
Like, the Nellies and the 50 Cents were here and were on fire. Eminem's, depending on who you ask, hey, he's still around. But this nigga got hot, and once it was hot, never left.
Never left.
Never left.
And when he saw Drake coming out, the ladies love him. He's light skinned. He's from Canada. He's foreign. We love a foreign. And he can rap well.
Yeah.
And he got Lil Wayne co-signing him.
Yeah.
Some who would say Lil Wayne is the greatest artist, best rapper.
Alive.
And
Still, to this day.
if you look at Kanye in his career, he kind of got a cosign from Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So two people who entered the industry and had a cosign from people that are viewed as GOATs.
Yeah.
And then would you say that their beef started because of Drake entering and Kanye seeing it as competition, and then they had like this friendly competition, but deep down inside, one of them ain't playing with the friendly competition.
Yeah. I think it's, well, the origin of this is Kanye always believed that the music that they call the OVO sound, that is blueprinted by Drake and 40, was based on what he did with 808s. And so he always felt that 40 was still in his style. And I think there's somewhere publicly he said that, which means, like, once you say it, it's okay. I gotta take you for what you said. You think we still in your style, but it's not the case. And then, we have the situation of some of the sabotages Drake, Kanye has done, intentional or unintentional, that happened. From the Best I Ever Had video that everybody made fun of, where it's just women running around half naked, playing basketball, stretching, doing all that shit for a song that is one of the best Like that's an opening song for an artist. So the video at that time, a video could make or break an artist. Kanye, that being Kanye's first video he ever directed.
Oh, Kanye West directed that video and it was bad?
And he kind of sabotaged that.
So it's like...
He kind of sabotaged that whole situation.
If you about to be the next hot nigga, if I can get into front of this, let me get in front of it. To producing on Thank Me Later, Find Your Love, Show Me a Good Time. Like, producing those sounds and those sounds being singles, and it's like, all right.
I Better Find Your Love was terrible.
So it feels like it's self-sabotage.
I better find your love.
It feels like it's sabotage only because it's like everybody is crowning him as the next guy while I'm still around. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, people love to play frenemies. Frenemies is a big thing. Like, yes, I'll help you, but I also don't want to see you.
Yeah, it's a certain level of help that you're going to give somebody you're a frenemy with. Yeah. You're not going to help them get better than you. I'll help you get up here, but get better than me? No.
I'm going to give you the passwords, but you still got to do the work.
Right. So... I could see that. I could definitely see that. I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. I think it all smacked me in the face when Drake was talking on, I think it was it Scorpion?
Yeah.
And
well, this whole...
Or whether this is before then, because they've
been off and on with this frenemy thing for years. So that happens in 2009. They take a time off. He goes and does Take Care. And they like... sort of patch it up around Nothing Was the Same for Drake, and he brings him out in Toronto, and it's cool. But then they have another falling out, and so then...
Well, let's take, before we get too far into it,
a lot of
Kanye breaks up with a lot of people publicly.
A lot.
So at what point, like, do we take any fallouts that he has seriously? I
think of the part that we fail to realize is at what point do we stop taking what he says publicly serious?
Well, the thing is, if you don't listen to Kanye the first time, he's going to yell it out more.
And I think that is where things get iffy, because I think for Kanye, the turn of his life was when we wasn't taking him serious. The shit he was saying was important.
Yeah.
So I think to be made fun of, like the joke of George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's like the first time we've ever seen somebody go on TV and say some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so when you say that and everybody laughs at it, and as black people, we laugh at it like, nah, he was telling the truth, but that's funny. Like,
later on, we figured that out.
We figured out he's telling the truth. To see a black man, because as I've said on here, that we don't speak about this enough, to see a black man go on stage and protect a black woman from unfair circumstances, you get laughed at, you get criticized, people call you an asshole.
Beyonce and Taylor Swift, when Taylor Swift won that award, that should have been Beyonce's.
That's him protecting a black woman, and nobody's taking it. Nobody says that. It's just, this nigga's an asshole. Why would you do that? That's not the place for you to do that. It's him knowing his worth, going to the Grammys and saying, I deserve these awards. Everybody's talking about my albums. Why am I not winning them?
So let me ask a question. This is for Rez. So in that situation, knowing what you know now, is that really protecting black women? Or is that potentially like what does that situation look like?
I don't think it helped the situation. I think it made it worse. Even though his intentions were good, it still put a light on Beyonce to say, well, dang, do she feel this way as well? And it's kind of like you speaking in my place, which is different from protecting a black woman, because I think we mean from harm. But he was so passionate about it that that's what he had to do in that moment. Yeah. But still, like, it's kind of making me look bad too, because it makes it seem like we talked about this. Like, as a Virgo, I know behind the scenes, Beyonce probably was like, if that bitch Taylor Swift, if she win that award like they always do to me, they bring me to these awards, they have me come out so people could watch it and then not give me any awards, I'm going to snap. And she probably said that. Kanye probably noted it, knowing that he's a Gemini. Geminis, they ride or die. It's a terrible mix. And he probably was like, when I get up there, what you're not going to do is disrespect Beyonce. He had to say something.
He had to say something.
In that moment, it's like, yeah, like I'm not going to say yeah in front of these people, but like, yeah.
And it's like an element of like,
it's embarrassing.
It's because we live in this society of standards, of you be polite. If you lose, this whole fucking, what's the fucking, all this sportsmanship.
Yeah.
If you lose
and
proudly. Keep going. Don't say nothing about,
it's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
And it's even harder to do it when you're in the industry because it's so many opinions, so many voices, so many spotlights. And who knows what that did with his relationships behind the scenes with labels.
I mean, he had to
disappear.
disappear. He had to disappear.
Yeah.
Like, that's like 08, 09. He like didn't come back to like 2011. He was gone. He like disappeared. So that makes you feel a type of way when you've been this person who's been saying truths and nobody wanted to hear with you, and they treated you like, this nigga had Obama call him a jackass. Like the president of the United States call you a jackass. At this point, nobody's really fucking with you. And I feel like, you'll love this reference. I think that begins the origin of his villain story.
Okay.
All right, keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, so I feel like that's where the origin of his story is. And so now, nobody likes me. They don't give a fuck. They just want to hear the music.
So what is, I mean, let's paint a picture here. What villain is Kanye? Like, if we had to compare him to somebody.
I would say he's Joker. Only because you want to root for him. But you also realize this nigga is a villain. Like
he's a bad person.
He's a bad person, but you kind of want him to win. Like, just a little bit. Not much, but
is it
just
like you felt bad for him, or just because he's
It's
likable?
the sympathy behind it.
It's because it's the sympathy of, I understand why you are the way you are.
Because of the trauma he's going through?
Because of the trauma you've gone through. But you realize this ain't the way you're supposed to go about this.
Yeah, it is rules and it's societal norms and rules, and people have been here for a while. And you're making a lot of noise right now. And it's almost like when people are disrupting y'all got an organization going on here. Y'all at work, y'all show up to work every day, and there's one person that coming to work like, fuck this shit, I'll quit right now. Every single day. You're disrupting the flow.
Person you love.
I can't stand near you for too long, but woohoo, yeah, I feel you too.
That person you love.
Just not like this.
But I cannot stand with this.
And then they try to uproot the carpet while everything's, no, baby, we need a strategy, we need a plan.
Yeah.
And that's the person that it's kind of like, I feel you, I understand why you're doing what you're doing. Yes. In Kanye's case, sometimes I really don't understand what the purpose is.
Yes.
And I don't agree with it, but you got to shut the hell up right now because you're going to mess this up for everybody.
There's a lot of things that he says that number one, he articulates very poorly. Even as a rapper or musician, he articulates very poorly. Like, we laughed about the thing he said about Rosa Parks. Harriet Tubman. Like, slavery is a choice. It's not how you say what you mean by that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you say, like, you know what I'm saying, they didn't know they were in position to get away from that, is how you should say that if that's how you mean. Slavery wasn't a choice for them. Mm-mm. So he says a lot of things very poorly. Mm-hmm. But usually the message when you hear him speak is true. Like,
if you want to listen, but that's the thing. It's up to people to decide if they want to listen.
Right.
After that point. And it takes work when you're having a conversation with somebody to try to flip it and get an understanding of what they're trying to say.
Oh, yeah. I said
all I have is I heard what you said.
Like, yes.
And it's up to me how I'm going to receive it and how I'm going to interpret it.
And we live in a time where everybody only sees the highlights. They don't read the article.
No.
So if it says Kanye West says slavery was a choice, oh, this nigga says slavery was a choice, let me tweet out this think piece explaining to Kanye why slavery was a choice. When in hindsight, if you go listen to what he said and in the context, he just meant they could have been free had they got together and did some shit.
So it just turns into Kanye becoming this person that just makes a lot of noise, and then people just stop listening.
Start tuning in.
And they give, oh, that's Kanye. Oh, that's Kanye. Yeah, he's going to do what he's going to do. And it, in some sense, gives him this, like, freedom to do whatever. And he comes out with Dark Twisted Fantasies.
So now we still
and
love you.
We call you a genius behind Dark Twisted Fantasy because it was just like great. It
Great.
was magical.
Great.
Still have that CD in my car. And, you know, you come back, you try it again. You try it again, and then each time you're just getting further and further away from the people, because the same way we're not listening to you, you're not listening to us.
Exactly.
And you're not in tune with the things that we want to hear and what we want to see from you and our opinions on what you're saying.
Right.
So it's almost like Kanye is disconnected from his audience. And I say that as somebody who listened to Donda and watched the shit and, you know, haven't paid attention to him for a while, and he comes out with Donda, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't know. I don't feel attached to this.
I think it's now at a point, it's because the words that he speaks out his mouth come off as very self-serving.
Yes.
Like the narrative is Kanye only wants to speak when he has to sell you something.
Yes.
Like we remember he went on his Twitter rant about him wanting to own his masters, and the way it's phrased is all artists should own their masters. We should get rid of these industry standards. The whole time you say that this is really about you trying to get your own shit.
Yeah.
You in a bad contract. You feel like now that you're a billionaire, you in the levels of the niggas that own the shit you own, you can have these conversations. And it's like, fam, that's not how this works. Like, it sounds like you were upset about your shit for you. And it's like, bro, now
and you bringing everybody else
you trying to bring everybody else into it to make it seem like you're helping people when it's really something you want for yourself.
and self-serving.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I am with Kanye.
Yeah.
Now, when we take a flip and we look at Drake and we look at how he's reached this place, and I feel like he started off being relatable.
I think all of Drake's rise to fame have been pure, realistic, this could happen to you. I'm not taking it away from any other artists. It's just how I see it. It starts off as, because everything that people say about Drake is narrative. Started from the bottom. He never started from the bottom. He was a child actor. Child actor in Canada probably don't make that kind of money.
Right.
Like, being the influence, the show is, it took this nigga to get super famous for people to go, oh yeah, that is the nigga that was on the grass.
Yeah.
So when you, like, that's the narrative. To the point where at the time where he started rapping, you're not as famous as a musician as you are as an actor. Point blank. If you make poor music as a rapper and then you make good TV shows, nobody gives a fuck.
It doesn't always transition that way. It's not like he was in Degrassi rapping.
At this time, like now, probably. A motherfucker is really good on fucking Instagram, and all the fucking Instagram comedians, they could probably go get their TV show somewhere.
Right.
But back then it was, nigga, we don't know shit about you. We just know you the nigga from the TV show. Let me see if the music is decent.
Right.
And so I feel like his rise to fame is full of struggle that people don't like to give him credit for.
Right.
It's full of like, I had to really get to this point. And because it took off so fast, it's like, oh.
And he was so consistent too. I don't feel like he was one of those artists who came out and focused specifically on gangster rap.
Right.
It was like I feel like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, he always had some sort of pop record or some type of radio single that everybody could listen to.
So when it becomes a thing of like, I rap, but I also enjoy the art of singing.
Yeah.
Like if every time you listen to him, like him tell you who his influence are, it's R&B artists, the Aaliyahs of the world, the fucking Craig Davids, the motherfuckers that made this melodic music that he loved as a child. Yes, I love rappers, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Kanye. He says Kanye. But the R&B elements of him, I like to sing too. I like to make music for women. Like, they love R&B.
And then if you think about it, has Drake ever been in a situation where he was politically incorrect or he spoke against something that we all are passionate about? Like racism or like police brutality, or has he been caught out here doing dumb shit to women?
I think those are the narratives that then start because he doesn't say things. You know what I'm saying? He built a foundation of like, we actually go do shit. Like, we go give money to our communities. We show up. They criticize this nigga for having his own Houston Appreciation Weekend in Houston. Like, nigga, you're not from Houston, but I understand when I got to Houston.
They said his girlfriend out there, though. It's a bunch of them.
But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something. Like, the narratives
The cover
of him.
sells it all.
Right. But it's like the narrative of him being a womanizer, but it's like, it's a nigga. It's a
I like to see it.
25-year-old nigga with money. I'm not going to be tied down. I'm going to have a bunch of women. Like, I understand it. Makes sense. But it's like these narratives just.
I will say one narrative about him was when Rihanna had him out here simping. And he told Rihanna that he loved her on stage.
He's supposed to.
And she was like, okay, like, why are you doing this in front of all these people?
But who is this narrative? What is this narrative of simp?
The narrative is that Rihanna didn't want him. And from my perspective and what I witnessed during this time, that she didn't want to claim him publicly.
So what I'm saying is, in most millennial relationships, the act of public affection and PDA and posting me on social, it gets no grander than that.
We're about to unlock something right here. Their relationship was the foundation for a lot of relationships now. What Rihanna was doing was protecting herself because this nigga was still out here trying to play around.
Or let's keep it a buck.
You don't want to post him and he out here embarrassing you.
Or let's keep it a buck. Mm-hmm. It was the relationship that caused you. I see her smile in those pictures with Rocky every time they pop up.
Oh.
They pop up a lot more often now than the pictures of her and Drake used to.
Mm-hmm.
I see them go places and they together, arm in arm, hand in hand.
They claimed each other.
It's like,
so was it a relationship or were they just messing around?
Like, so this is like, so when the motherfucker, like, this is the only instance I can think of people where the guy wanted to be in a relationship and made it known and the woman didn't. Because they back and forth.
Well, you ever seen somebody in a relationship and they're not in a good space, so they don't want to claim them, and then the guy is like constantly trying to get that love back because he disrespected?
It's trash.
And now in the public eye, it looks as if you don't want me, but you don't want me because I've been doing you wrong. Yeah. And then we also have CB coming into it, because let's not forget Mr. Chris Brown.
Maybe that's
they
that's
also,
a negative.
They had to keep it low.
They had a little beef there.
But I would say that his relationship with Rihanna, or whatever it was, his situation fling, it kind of shaped. It gave us great music, but it also shaped this image that we have of him being a lover boy. Yeah. Because in that instance, a lot of people are looking at Drake like, dang, he saw if he in love with Rihanna. Like, you know, you don't do that. And she out here making bad bitch music and you out here making sim shit. Especially, you drop what? Take Care?
Especially when you start ringing off the names on that hit list.
Uh-huh.
This nigga, we love to talk about the strippers that he empowers. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the power plays that this man has made. We got Rihanna. We got Serena. Like, we got J-Lo. Oh, Tyra Banks. There's some power players on this list at a time where a nigga was running through them.
He was sniping.
He was sniping. Pew, pew, pew. There's some power players. So, like, a nigga, like, doing that.
One time is fine with me.
So it shaped him into who we know him to be.
And the music has never lied.
The music is good.
You've always heard.
Well, is it never lied, or is it just always hit the mark for you?
I think it's always been honest. Because from day one, we shouldn't know about these women. Like, I will never meet Courtney from Peachtree. I should know that all his spouses live in Texas like it's George Strait. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't know about these women. Like, Bria Miles probably can give a lot of credit for having Bria's interlude, because he met her and they, you know what I'm saying? Like, he empowered these women to the point that we know as fans who these women are, and we probably should.
Yeah.
Like, we should know that.
Yeah.
This nigga took Tatiana Ali on a date.
I just think, I think Drake has been this person, and, you know, we kind of lived up to the narratives that we made made about him. He never tried to come out and say, that's not true. I wasn't simping over Rihanna.
Right.
I'm not a player. Like,
Okay.
you know, you come out, you have a baby. It took you a while to own up to that, but, you know, things happened.
Wow, to own up to that.
Things happened that forced your hand. Like, you weren't going to tell us.
But that's because nobody ever listens to Drake. It's the shit I was talking about last week. No, everybody loves groupthink. The man came out and explained, fam, when the girl told me she was pregnant, I wanted to get a DNA test. I got the DNA test. They said something happened in transit that the DNA test wasn't conclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I go around telling people I got a kid on the way and I don't even know if that's my kid?
Right.
So then when I found out that there was a positive DNA test, this is when shit happened.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not me hiding, not him hiding a kid. It's just like, fam, I wouldn't just run out here and start telling people, yeah, I got a kid on the way. Well, I don't have a kid on the way.
Well, we talked about how Kanye West fell out with people. Drake, too, falls out with people.
Does he?
Yeah. He fell out with, I don't know what happened between him and Jay-Z, but there are records of him taking shots at Jay-Z.
Yeah, but they're the prime definition of frenemy.
He fought Diddy in the club.
Diddy in the club.
Back to back with him and my favorite rapper.
That was his fault, though.
Yeah.
That was Meek's fault. He wild out on that one.
Meek Drake, whose album was it?
That's Meek's album.
Meek dropped the album and he was upset that Drake wasn't promoting it.
No, he was upset that Drake didn't show up for a show.
Drake didn't show up for a show.
And he started to wild out that night
Mm-hmm.
about not comparing me to these rappers who don't even rap their own raps. And so since Drake doesn't write his own raps, he decided to rap with me.
Yeah. Pusha T, some would say that he's beefing with Kendrick Lamar, but I feel like it's just all that
I feel like some of these things are personal.
masculine. Is it personal or is it like sportsmanship?
I feel like some of this is sportsmanship, some of this is personal. The Meek thing at the time was personal.
Yeah.
The Chris Brown thing at the time was personal.
I mean,
The Diddy thing.
Was that over Rihanna or somebody?
That's over Rihanna. He literally said online that Chris Brown is mad at me because right now in this moment I make better music than him, and the woman that he loved fell into my lap. Those are things we can Google all of this. These are
Yikes.
things.
And then Diddy.
The Diddy thing
Alcohol
is
infused.
sport. Well, also we need to talk about for a nigga that has changed his name to Love. Diddy has had issues with a bunch of these rappers. There's a J. Cole story of Diddy and J. Cole fighting. There's a story of Drake and Diddy fighting. We all know what happened to Steve Stout, even though we don't like to talk about it, and the coach at UCLA.
Oh.
there's a thing, but I would be upset too. Puff had a right if I asked you to help me with this song and you take the song and make a hit out of it. I would feel the type of way as well.
What song are we talking about?
0 to 100. If I asked you to help me with this song and you take it and, you know, go crazy and get a hit out of it, I probably would feel a way too.
Yeah. So,
But throughout all of these beefs, Tory Lanez, The Weeknd, all these guys, he's made peace in 2021 with most of them.
yeah.
Except for maybe 2, and there's some new ones brewing, as I heard Certified Lover Boy. So, you know, he's a guy that who, if we have an issue, it's gonna take some years for us to get past it. But,
Who? What's the T? What's the beef?
right now,
What song? Name the song and what he with. You don't have to say the lyric, but just
the
what.
song is "You Only Live Twice," the Rick Ross and Lil Wayne song. And he addresses the Swiss Beats situation where, you know, after one of the verses, Swiss Beats went live and said he had a problem with Drake because a song leaked and he was upset that Drake didn't want to put the song out. And even though it leaked, he felt a type of way about that. And he said, you know, that's a kid. And, you know, we don't have to, you know, it ain't personal. We don't have to do them kind of things because we could shoot your plane out the sky. That's what Swiss said. Random. Like,
shoot your plane out the sky.
Yeah,
it's random.
It's kind of hard.
It's a good bar because Drake's got the plane. But it's a good line.
That's still a little bit.
That's a little harsh for
Bronx
me not dropping a song that leaked.
So it's become on one of the bars. It's like, fam, I helped your wife at a time when niggas wasn't fucking with the music no more.
Sure, I'm still not fucking with it.
I think her last hit on a main stage,
Unthinkable,
maybe Unthinkable.
That
might be her last real hit. So at a time when I've did things for you and never said nothing.
I think Drake gets a lot of shots too. Like, a lot of people don't know how to take Drake.
Why not?
Because they feel like they make up these narratives in their head about him. Like, he's arrogant, he gets a lot of women, he's an asshole. But every time I see Drake, like, in passing, he doing silly shit. Like, people who take themselves, he doesn't look like somebody who takes themselves too seriously.
He comes off sneaky to me though.
Why would you say sneaky?
Because he looks like the type that is not going to make a spectacle out of it.
It's because he's a Scorpio.
Like, the thing is, like, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
a
like,
Scorpio.
but it's like, only like, if I'm beefing with Meezy, right, I'm only gonna do something that only Meezy notices that I did it.
Well,
that's about right.
And
that's the part.
I think that's what we're not used to.
But that's what's supposed to happen, bro. Like, in real life, when niggas get online, the funniest line that I've ever heard niggas say is, they get online and go, I don't do this internet shit.
Yes, you do.
You're doing it
right now.
You're doing it right now. So if I could be like, if I could make you know that I know everything you did and we don't have to make this a public thing, whoever catch it, but it don't become this known thing, I'm going to let you know, like, fam, I heard what you said. I know what you did. And I want you to know I know you know.
But then he says, crap down the block, made it right. Like, all that.
You know
stuff.
why? Because if you know where Drake live, you know Kanye lived down a block. You make a left. This is how you get to his house. But you gotta know that.
But the thing is, we
didn't know that.
But
what happens is, because you wanted to be a jackass, now I want you to know the entire world knows you're a jackass. Because every time you leave your house, they're playing this song. They're singing this song at the top of their lungs.
Yep.
Like, I want that to bother you, not what me and you got. I want you to be upset because I made a hit with your demise in mind. Like, that's why, like, people, he does this for everybody.
It's crafty.
It's supposed to be. If I'm about to have beef with somebody, I want to make money off this beef because it don't do shit for me.
I would like to make money off of it.
I would like to make money off this.
Yeah.
Rapping to Meek Mill back and forth about who's the better rapper, doing this thing. It happens. It's today, tomorrow they forget about it. But you know what we won't ever forget about? Is this a world tour or your girls tour? You gotta live with that, knowing what you did was wrong for the rest of your life.
Because people still play back to back.
You got to, and that's how it's supposed to be. If it's up, then it's stuck.
Yeah. I think that's another thing that keeps Drake going. So if we go back and we compare these two and their styles, like, what was your experience growing up with Kanye and Drake? Like, when did you become a fan of both of them?
I have been a fan of Kanye from the first time I heard Blueprint. The beats on there were crazy. I know it's a Just Blaze, Bink, and Kanye production, but, like, hearing the names... like hearing Izzo, but like hearing the style of like motherfuckers sampling these older music and making them hard was like crazy. And so then like getting in tune with, I remember hearing Through the Wire for the first time. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, this nigga's crazy. And then I dove in, like my mom bought me this bootleg that wasn't College Dropout. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Mind you, I'm 6th grade age.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck is this? But then I got into it. And it taught me a lot about hip hop because all of it was a bunch of samples.
Yeah.
So he's rapping over these older musics and then it's like, whose original song is this? Like, he rapped over Electric Relaxation, which is a Tribe Called Quest song. People also know it as the original theme of the Wayne song, brothers, before it switched.
Yeah.
So when Sean had dreads, the theme song for that is a Tribe Called Quest song. So I had been watching the Wayne's Brother and like knowing this song, and I'm like, oh shit, Kanye jumped over there, and then I learned, oh, Tribe Called Quest. So it was that, and then College Dropout obviously happened, and you hear it, and you're like, oh my god, this is beautiful, and you become a fan.
Yeah.
Of everything. Like at one point, I was a diehard Kanye. I've grown in my life to be fans of multiple people, and to the point where I've stand multiple people. People don't like to let me live it down, but whatever. I, at one time, was a part of this Kanye stand. Mm-hmm. Everything he did was glorious. It was amazing. Graduation was at the point where I was like, nobody could be better than this nigga in life.
Graduation was good. Because
that is the only album that I can think of that makes a I'm here statement. Like, I'm here. You niggas gotta do, like, it's hard to be humble when you stunting on a Jumbotron. Mm-hmm. Like that is a real live laugh. Like, no, he's really doing this at this level. And so when I heard it, I was like, no, this nigga's here to stay. And so I've always been a fan at that point.
Yeah. I think for me, it started with Through the Wire, College Dropout, just getting those albums, listening to it, and hearing the words that he was saying, relating to it. And then up until the point where he just started doing stupid shit. And I'm like, you know what? I love this. I love 808s and Heartbreaks. I enjoyed Pablo. Dark Twisted Fantasy, which we talked about earlier, was great. And just the things that he was able to do musically, it was different from what I was used to hearing before.
Yeah.
And the samples, the way that he talked about his love life, the way that he talked about fame, the way that he talked about wanting to get somewhere, wanting to get money. It was like, yes, this is like motivational. Like, this is good. And you can, I guess for me, I said this earlier, but you can tell the difference when it switched and the music stopped being about the people.
Right.
And it's no longer about what the people want to hear. It's about what he's going through and telling his story because he didn't get a chance to tell it before. But I was a fan of Kanye, no longer am, but I still listen.
Just because you love
just because I want to hear, I want to be in the know of what's going on.
You like
not because I just want to know. Like, I can't do a podcast and be able to talk about things without knowing what the hell is going on.
And just because as like black people, this is culture for us.
Yeah,
this is part of our culture. Like, I don't think white people link up and be like, bro, that Carrie Underwood.
No,
that's the one. Like,
did you hear that? Like, did you hear a new album?
Did you hear that? Like, I don't think they link up. Who knew
Carrie was still dropping shit?
I don't think they link up like that. But I like there's something that you just see because it's black culture and you're immersed in it. You gon' see and you want to know like this nigga was living in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You're gonna see this.
After a while, it just starts getting performative. Yeah, it's like this can't be real. Like, you just doing too much.
And so when you see enough black people that you enjoy talk about the antics of somebody, you just go to see.
Yeah. For Drake, it was on the flip side. Did you want to say?
Yeah, just so for the music, I felt like after Pablo, things kind of got a little downhill. Like,
Pablo,
he got a little lost after Pablo.
Pablo was good though,
in my opinion. I mean, because he tried to do all those like it just. I think you just noticed that there was a hidden agenda.
Yeah,
right. And at first, I think it came out as it was the money issues that he was having, right? And I felt like that's where we noticed like a large portion of it. But then, more recently, like, I don't know, it just comes off like you want to give everybody your ass to kiss.
Yeah.
And there's like this level of like you feel entitled for what's going on. And what I can really kind of correlate it to, and this is kind of me jumping out the window. Basically, I felt like this is like him, like he's like the person who peaked in high school.
Wow.
Right. And now he's seen other people kind of like pass him by, and he don't like it, and he's just gonna be loud about it.
He's gonna be the villain of it.
With Drake being the star quarterback,
right? Drake was a little bro,
and he became the star quarterback. Then he became the college quarterback, and now this nigga may be the greatest quarterback to ever play football. Right. While everybody thought once you got to college and got hurt, and now your college career was up, you're not the guy no more. Yeah.
It just looks bad after a while taking on that view. Like taking on that stance on somebody, you always look better like being supportive of somebody, but you wanting to be the reason for their demise or trying to take them down at the height of their career is kind of like you look bad. You're going outside.
Yeah, because like I mean, if you think about it too, like I felt like Kanye tried to do certain stuff, right, and then Drake wound up doing it a little bit better.
Did Kanye actually come out and say that he was trying to mess up Drake's release date?
No, but you could see that.
You knew.
You could see that. You can see that. Like you can everything he's ever done, you can do that. Like you can't go from like supporting like Kanye made Pop Style. It was supposed to go on Views. And then after Views came out, like they went on this run. They were like buying billboards in Calabasas, calling it the new Abu Dhabi, and they were about to do this joint project. But on one side you do that, but then next week you have a concert and you get on stage and say, I don't understand why Drake and DJ Khaled keep running the radio. Why I don't get the same type of love they get. Like, why would you, like, you can't praise me and then just try to go out on the limb and say these type of
and downplay my stuff.
And then instead of just like, yo, like, put me on, like what am I doing? What am I not doing right?
Or like understanding what your lane is now.
The thing is, and I feel like this has a lot to do because I've seen people slandering Donda online. The problem was you did too much with Donda. Like you told us that the album was going to come out and it didn't come out. So now we sit up here waiting for it. We already heard it twice. And it didn't come out. And then it seems like after we all know in this industry, if you let something pass by too long, we get to a point, especially in our culture, where we don't even care no more because now you begging us for, like, we got to beg you for it. Where's Donda? Donde es Donda? And it's not dropping. We don't care no more.
But you got to understand that those rules only apply to regular artists.
Which rules?
Of if you say something,
do it.
Right. Like, because we take that piece, but if you flip it, Rihanna's never said anything about new music. Niggas just keep going, Rihanna, where's the new music? And Rihanna continues to blatantly show you that I don't want to make new music or I don't want to put new music out. You know what I'm saying? So that level only applies to niggas who have not reached superstar status. You gotta understand, we're talking about a nigga who could sneeze tomorrow and do 200,000. You gotta understand, this nigga did 3 different album listings where I just come and play you the album, sold out a football stadium.
And it wasn't even the same thing that came out.
Yeah, it is. It's all 3
both
of them.
times?
All 3 of them are
mixed together. So it wasn't the same thing each time, it was something different each time?
Every time. And so you talking to a nigga who does, like, I don't have to make music no more if I don't want to.
So at this point, you're not making it for us. You're making it for yourself.
Exactly.
It's not about the fans. Because if you cared about the fans, you would have just put it out. You playing with them.
Who cares?
Right.
Fam, you niggas are standing in my line for my shoes.
And they're going to.
And they're going to.
You taking it, the way you treat your fans, I don't like it.
You can't be upset if now things don't go the way that it goes, right? Because you have zero credibility.
You treat people bad.
But he's not. This is the one time he's not talking. And listen, I'm very defensive.
Oh, he's talking to somebody.
But it comes off like I'm defending him, but only because it's this narrative that we keep provoking on people, and I hate that we put narratives on people. Kanye never said anything. He just started showing up in Las Vegas, and he played some people some art records, and then that commercial with Sha'Carri came out and it was a Kanye song on there and it was like, oh, a new Kanye album was coming out. And on Friday, a new album did come out. It did come out on your DSPs, but if you watch the Apple stream, there was a new album there. So then it didn't come out and everybody is speculating. So then he did it again the next week. New album did come out, but it didn't come out where you wanted it to come out. So I think it's our perspectives versus his. They kept coming out. New music kept coming out. It just wasn't where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so I think then it gives him a bad rap. because it's false advertisement.
Def Jam was like, yo, I'm tired of this guy.
That's because Def Jam don't know what the fuck they doing.
Ooh.
If we gonna be honest, Def Jam is dying, and this is the only thing keeping them alive. Shouts out to Tuma, who just got that new job as CEO over there. You've done great work from Spotify all the way up to Google, Yahoo, YouTube. You've done great work, but the job you just took is a shithole.
So I guess if we get back to the beginning of things, the beginning of this conversation, when we go into comparing these two as artists, can we really compare them?
Yes. I think they are part of they are part of a group of rappers that are the most important rappers we've ever seen.
Okay.
They sit on this, when I'm not talking about best, I'm not talking about greatest. I know I just said that last week with the numbers. They're a part of a group that made rap become what it is to the mainstream of
So the history.
They're part of the history. Their legacies will be cemented from just, if you look at what Kanye's been able to do for music. And I mean from like Kanye being able to grab people and say, hey, I'm putting this song out. And people going, okay, when's it coming out? It's like, just know it's coming out. And niggas stay up till 4 o'clock and put out music. And I also think why Certified Lover Boy came out at 2 o'clock is also a play off that, which is also a play that Kanye was in Germany. And so at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is 8 a.m. in Germany. But that's a whole nother conspiracy theory I made up. But like, he sits in a place where he does things that always move it forward. Kanye could show you that, look, 7 songs on an album is a 30 album, and you can get nominated for a Grammy, even though they don't want you to win it. He can show you that, hey, listen, I might not make the best, I might not write my raps, but I can make music that people enjoy. He does things that are important. He can show you don't have to just be in the box of a rapper. These fashion niggas keep using us. They keep using us. All we talk about is these labels and these shits. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go sign with Adidas and become, hey, a billionaire. Then you see motherfuckers like Beyonce, Pharrell, all these rappers get deals over at Adidas to push their lines out. Like, he's important to the culture. And I think on the flip side, Drake is important because it shows you that this shit don't have to be in a box.
Yeah.
I just want to jump back. We didn't really go about with Drake. So I know I said that about Kanye earlier, but I'm not necessarily the biggest Drake fan either. I just always kind of felt like with his music, I've always kind of felt like there was a little bit of a false advertisement too. Because, I get it. Everyone already knows, like, yeah, you got to give something to get people to actually buy the album, right? And then you can talk about the stuff that you really want to talk about. But there's something about the runs that you go on with all these remixes, all these features and stuff like that puts you in this lane, right? And it's like upbeat and stuff like that, and then it's just small violins.
I'm glad you said that, because that was what was going to be my part, my next part. He gets this false narrative of being a culture vulture.
Drake does?
Yes, of like he goes and steals from people's styles, places, accents. But nobody ever gives him the credit for what he did.
Right.
Like, nobody understands that Toronto is a fucking melting pot for culture. Toronto don't have just white people in it. They got fucking Middle Eastern immigrants. They got fucking West Indies and Jamaican people that live there. So the culture he's been around his entire life, make the music that he like. Number one. Number two, every time he goes and steals from one of those places, the people that you enjoy in those fucking genres of music stand beside him and give him the cosign.
Yeah.
Early on in the Jamaican world, there was Movado. Him and Movado was doing a lot of shit on Khaled music. Then you go stand beside Popcorn. Popcorn is a G in Jamaican music.
Yeah.
They stand next to him. They create OVO and Ruli. Popcorn is now signed to OVO.
Yep. Then we get Afro beats.
Then you go over there. Then you say, oh, well, Afro beats is, he ain't, you know what I'm saying? Okay, the first song I went and did, the very first song that's Afro beat, has WizKid on it.
Yep, WizKid was on it.
WizKid is on it. Now WizKid gets his shine with Essence this summer, and everybody's saying, oh, he was all right, but now you're a superstar.
Right.
Because we heard him.
I mean, we can say that with a lot of artists.
He say that nobody does it like that.
Yeah. No, he did that for a lot of artists.
He does this for a lot of artists. We wouldn't know about the Migos as much. They wouldn't still be around. Every time he get on a song, they get a number one.
Versace.
Every time Lil Baby is now comparably taking his spot.
Yep.
The first smash Lil Baby had, Drake was on it. Like, QC may owe Drake a lot of fucking money for the things he's done for that record label.
You know who we haven't seen him with? And I was thinking about this earlier. Cardi B.
That's the only one, but guess where she has performed at?
Where?
OVO Fest.
Okay.
when the nigga was up and coming and he spent all his time in Houston, all he ever does is fucking sample music from Houston. Those Houston artists get those royalty checks from going a billion. When he loved Lil Durk them in 2011. Guess what he did when he flipped back around in 2020? Hey, Lil Durk, it's your time. I'm going to put you on a single. Like, he keeps doing things from people. The UK niggas, when he talk about Mans and them, all them niggas love him.
Mans and them.
They all fucking love him. He part of one of the cliques over there with Skepta, the BB Kids, the Boy Better Know crew. They love him over there. Like, niggas do not give him the credit for bringing people up. How much you think it
costs to get a Drake feature?
Right now, you either gotta give him the rights to the song or you gotta have probably $1 million up front.
Okay.
Because if you look at Black Boy JB, also his dad lived in Memphis. He spent his summers in Memphis. So when they talk about he don't have this southern gangster thing, where'd he get it from? It's because he spent his time in Memphis. Black Boy JB doesn't own the rights to that song. But guess what? You might not own the rights. But now you can eat forever because you got a smash.
That's right.
It's like, give him the credit for doing things for a bunch of people. Helping making stars. How many Jordan Smith songs do you know?
None.
Do you know the name?
Yep.
Let's continue to give the girl that I love who doesn't want to give me play. Let's continue to keep giving her a hit. Hey, party, go work with her. Y'all are this islandness. Y'all can go together.
Who?
Rihanna. Party been stuck in Rihanna basement for 3 years writing songs for her.
Oh my goodness. Listen.
Guess who gave Party the shine?
So when we go back to comparing the two, you said that there is a comparison, and it's that both of these artists are
cemented in history forever. You can never take that away from them.
They've made an impact on music and hip hop, and they're two artists that somebody has in their top 5.
Every time.
I think there are differences as well. One thrives off of being different and having the spotlight, but not wanting the spotlight, being too cool, but not cool enough. And then the other one is just like, it's me.
I think the only difference when you take what they do and you separate it, I think the purposes are different.
One is a little bit more strategic too.
No, I think they're both strategic.
I think Drake is a little bit.
I think he's more strategic, but I think Kanye's strategy is to be chaos.
I don't know if that's a strategy.
Chaos gets you to have a conversation.
Kanye, I feel like we give him a little bit more credit than we should. I think he's like winging a lot of what he's doing,
which causes chaos.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a strategy behind that.
But what I'm saying is, you could be the guy based off your morals and your history and your past, your pedigree, to come out and say, hey, I'm putting out an album on Friday. Do the album comes out on Friday, and then you to talk of the timeline for a week. Or you could be the guy that has the timeline in a chokehold for 3 weeks because of your antics.
Unintentionally, though. Because I don't know if that was a strategy or if it was him.
If you wanted to be finished with that album, you could be finished with that album today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're the guy. There's nothing, nobody, no label, because that's where it gets contradictory when you start to blame this on other people.
Yeah.
When you Kanye West, you can be finished today, or you can tell everybody y'all gotta wait. And I think that's what happens. So causing the chaos is the thing. The narrative is because he only speaks when he's got something to sell. Is because I need to generate enough hype for people. Just generate. It don't have to be positive. It don't have to be negative. This nigga ran for president and got to do it, which in his own thing is a thing to be proud of. Like he did it.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of.
He did it. He's showing motherfuckers you can do it.
That's something to be proud of. You was trying to sabotage. How you try to sabotage a presidential election?
This nigga ran for president,
and he looked dumb.
Whatever your theory is,
he looked dumb as hell.
He did it.
He didn't have no strategy. He didn't have no organization. He just did it. And that's the part where I say he be looking stupid as hell.
It's fire though. Like,
it wasn't.
It's fire.
It was dumb.
This nigga showed you you could be a rapper.
He should have sat down. Nah.
Like imagine had he did it. Like
no, sir.
Imagine if he'd have became president.
Everybody thought he looked stupid.
What if he'd have became our president?
You ever seen that SpongeBob gif where he jumping out the window of a building and it's just like he jumping, but it's like tears? That'd be me. I'm not doing that.
It would have been fire.
It wouldn't have. On that note, let's go.
Hard.
Let's go ahead and take a break and come back with our final thoughts.
The first shoe of the country was a Yeezy. Oh, come on. Like, that's the first shoe.
All right. For our final thoughts, let's go ahead and talk about what each of these men, their fan groups look like. Because, I mean, I like Drake. I don't know if I would consider myself like a Drake fan, but I know there has to be some sort of identity of a Drake fan.
These fucking fans overlap.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. I just think it's age gap. They overlap. It ain't about what kind of music you like. It ain't about what you into. It's just age.
Two sleeves in the same marmot.
Exactly. Like it's just like older people. Like if you're a fan of Drake, you probably 25 and up, right? And you like been through the shit the music relate to you so well. Too much sometimes.
You ever been in love with a stripper?
This one night.
You ever paid tuition?
No. But if she used the money I threw that night for two.
You ever gave somebody a loan to open up their business?
No, but I've been there and gave niggas ideas.
You ever met a devil in a new dress?
That's a good bar, but like Drake's music just connects for people. Women.
No comment on the last one.
Women, light skin, like it just connects with people on emotional level. Kanye fans are just people who connect with the overall thing, like the music, the fashion, the thought of free thinking, like this whole. And I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. Whatever you think a Travis Scott fan is, it is they're fans of Travis Scott.
Oh yeah, that's another person Kanye West fell out with
because they love Travis Scott.
But do you think they made up because they're like brother-in-laws almost?
Because they family. But it's like you can't be mad at me for working with Drake when Drake dies, nigga. Like it's some weird.
Yeah,
like you mad because he said that on my song and I put it out, but. Okay, nigga, I still.
How am I supposed to know what he talking about?
How the fuck was I? What was I supposed to tell him? No, I can't come in there and tell you no.
Don't spit that line about going to visit Kim.
But it's like the niggas like that young, like just that old overall Gen X thing that we give them credit for is what like they love the fact that anybody could.
I think Kanye West has a lot of white men fans.
I don't think so.
I think so. White men love Kanye West because it makes them feel like a safe black.
I'm gonna disagree with that, but I understand.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do understand.
Like they just feel like Kanye, he speaks for the black people. There was a time where he was, and they jumped on that.
They never seen like they just
They
know him.
They
for
know
that.
him for when he used to say shit about black, and he was like, "Oh, I love this, and I love black people." And then he flipped, and they're like at a weird space in their fandom where they're like, "Can we continue to support him?" Because now we don't know how much he is for black people.
I think it's the people that know the old Kanye. The people that know the old Kanye do not enjoy
The new Kanye.
and so like Drake gives them the feel of the old Kanye just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's emotion. It hits you like you relate
With the same emotion.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get the same emotion that I got from Take Care and Graduation from either of these artists, but I still enjoy.
I would like to say before we get out of here that neither of them have a bad project in their discography. You may have your favorite and you may have what you don't like, but all of the music is still good for them.
I missed a few of Kanye's, but Drake, yeah, he got some good ones. I think I missed a couple of Drake's too, but either way, shout out to Drake. That's all I have.
Shout out to Kanye, bro. Like
Okay.
I respect
Artistry.
I respect the artistry. I respect the always wanting to move the culture, like move shit, shake shit up. Like, fam, niggas thought Michael Jordan was the only nigga that could have a good shoe.
I think it's dumb.
It's like it lets motherfuckers like think about shoes. Like,
No.
like
The shoe,
like culture.
What he's done with the shoes and fashion, cool.
Like, this
I
nigga
still think it's.
I give him credit for making the color olive green and that colorway of olive green and nudes, which women love to this day. I don't remember that being such a big thing until that nigga started making Kim dress like that. Like that olive green shit wasn't that big.
Can you imagine being Kim?
I mean, he was just doing apocalyptic
He's just.
couture.
I just feel like he just be doing stupid shit.
And then which then leads to motherfuckers loving to be comfortable. Now they just want to dress in sweatpants.
We might be giving him a little bit too much credit.
I've seen you eat. I've seen pictures of you in a sweated suit.
Nah,
down,
that
sweatsuited down.
that
No?
Daria jacket was out before Kanye started making them colors. Don't play.
Say what?
The Daria jacket was out before Kanye West started dropping them colors.
The girls wasn't wearing them.
They was
It
wearing
just
them
Daria's.
Darias. They was wearing
it wasn't
and
that.
white people had comfortable shoes before he started making Yeezys.
Nigga brought.
We just didn't want to wear them.
the nigga brought that flight coat back. Like like let's just be clear. He does some things. I
The
respect
polo with the book bag. Let's not talk about what Drake did for peacoats. He did.
I don't think he did that.
He did something with peacoats though.
remember
Drake had a lot of bitches in peacoats.
Hey, it's time to transition. Since
What
we
we
spent
got?
the whole episode talking about rappers, I figured I'd play some R&B this week.
Soften it up.
You are now tuned in. To
You are now tuned in.
You're now tuned in to WMEZ. I forgot what the name of the show was, but right now we about to get into. This is Got Me Like. This is Amara. Sorry, I fucked that name up. It's Amara featuring Mick Jenkins here on WMEZ.
Textually active.
Woo! All right, let's wrap up this show with some memes. I feel like we gave y'all a lot of argument fuel for you to go back and argue on Twitter with a Kanye or a Drake fan. So I'm going to just leave you with this piece of advice to get you through those arguments online. When you're losing an argument, suck my dick will always get you back in the lead. Don't you all forget that big joker when you're out there arguing on the internet.
Please don't. Please do not do that.
What?
We do not no longer live in times where people don't know where you are.
Oh, you can't just tell somebody to suck your
you
dick?
probably
online?
should not do that anymore.
I think it's a good advice.
No,
I think it's good advice. Just
I like it. I love the energy. No, it should be that energy.
Just suck my
That
dick.
energy, but not those.
Let them know
words.
you're not playing it. You don't want to argue anymore when you
Right.
say that.
Yeah.
No, when you use that, you've elevated the
Yes,
argument to
yes,
action.
yes.
Okay.
I got one because the timeline last week, niggas was out here robbing niggas.
Huh.
Robbing. And I just wanted to inform you, this is how I feel. I'm 1,000% for scamming, except when it's done to regular people. All these rich people, the government, Scam up, nigga. Never scam down.
Absolutely.
Listen, man, I'm just gonna keep this really, really simple. All right, I know it's gonna be really, really tough out there. You know, we're getting a little bit closer. It's getting a little colder, a little bit earlier in the day.
It's about to be the time,
right? It's starting to get a little dark, a little bit earlier.
It's just a false fall right now.
Listen, man, all I gotta say is just take it one ghetto day at a time.
That's right. That's all you can do.
Those are the best days.
The ghetto days are fun. All I have to say is thank you all for listening to another episode of Textually Active.
Be a fan of who you're a fan of.
Right. Live in your fandom. Don't let nobody shame you out of not being a fan of
I'm gonna
whoever.
shame everybody.
Oh.
Shame.
Everybody's gonna have their opinion about music.
That's what you mean.
They don't know how you felt when you was listening to that donda 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 donda.
Music is a Venn diagram. Like
someone's mother.
No, but like the intro song was a little bit much. Y'all don't think so?
I could tell whoever.
R.I.P. Donda, but goddamn,
I don't know who was saying it, but she started to get a little frustrated because she started losing because she took a deep breath like Donda.
Yeah, she was going in.
I love you guys. Music makes the world go round. And until next week, we're out this piece.
Thank you for listening to the Textually Active podcast. This podcast is a full-service production from the Open Media Lab. Be sure to check in every Textual Tuesday along with following them on all social media at Textually Active Pod. Textually Active is a part of the Open Media Network.